Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Topit Hidayat. At this stage, I will explain how to do the calculation of Klassen typology analysis. First, what we need to prepare is the data from GDP of Pariaman city from 2014 until 2018. And the larger GDP data is the GDP from West Sumatra province. You can get the data from the website of BPS. Okay, you can download it. The first step that we have to do is calculate the GDP growth rate. How to calculate the GDP growth rate? Okay, you can see over here. Okay, the formula is the last year's mean minus the previous years and divided for the previous years and so on. Now we're looking for the average rate. You can calculate it like this. Average, we are the average for these years from the 2015 until 2018. Okay, next we calculate the contribution of Pariaman city sector GDP. The formula is, okay, you can see over here. The sector GDP divided by the total GDP, and then you converting it into the percentage. You can get the values. Okay, you convert it into percentage from the 2014 until the 2018, and then you calculate the average of contribution. The way how to get the average contribution is the same way if you want to know the average rate over here. Okay, and then the total below must be 100%. Okay, let's move to the West Sumatra province GDP. Then in the same way, we calculate the GDP for the West Sumatra province, so we can get the result like this. You can see over here. In the same way, after we calculate all of this, the GDP from Pariaman city and the GDP from the West Sumatra province, then it's time to get the Klassen analysis. We only make a table like this: business field table, West Sumatra province data, and then Pariaman city data, and then quadrant or typology. There is data on average growth and then average distribution, and then we just need to input the data from the data that we calculate before. Data from here, and then data from here, and here. Okay, this is the result. The categorized from the quadrant 1 or typology 1 is namely high growth and income. For the quadrant 2, namely high income but low growth, and then quadrant 3, namely high growth but low income, and then the quadrant 4 is light growth and low income. This is the categorized from each quadrant. Okay, if the result falls into this categorized, it is included in the group 1 or the quadrant 1. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and then quadrant 4. After we compare and categorize them, we get the result like this. For the A sector, it is categorized into potential sector, and then B sector and C sector, and then D D sector is categorized to potential sector, but in the E sector, it is categorized to low growth and low income. And then the F and G sector, it is categorized to the high growth and income sector. And then the H sector, it categorized to low growth and low income. And then I and G sector categorized to high growth and high income. And then K sector categorized into low growth and low income. And L sector categorized into high growth and income. And then M and O sector categorized into low growth and low income. And then P sector categorized into high income but low growth. And then Q sector categorized into sector potential. This is high growth but low income. And then RSTU sector categorized into high growth and income. This is the quadrant, the type of quadrant for this sector. After we calculate all of this and then we get the result, it's time to make a conclusion. The conclusion that we can get from the calculation of the Klassen analysis of GDP from Pariaman City with GDP from West Sumatra province in 2014 to 2018 are as follows. In the quadrant 1, we have a few sectors, the construction sectors, and then wholesale and retail trade, repair of motor vehicle and motorcycles sector, accommodation and food service activity sector, information and communication sector, and the real estate activity sector, and then other service activities. This is the sector from the quadrant 1. But in the quadrant 2, we only have one sector, is education sector. In the quadrant 3, we have agriculture, forestry and fishing sector, and then mining and quarrying sector, and the manufacturing sector, electricity and gas sector, human health and social work activity sector. This is a sector from quadrant 3. But in the quadrant 4, we have 3 sectors, namely water supplies sector, and then business activity sector, and then public administration, defense, compulsory social security sector. I think that's all from the conclusion from the Klassen analysis of GDP from Pariaman City with GDP of West Sumatra province in 2014 to 2018. I think that's all. Thank you for your attention. I'm sorry for the mistakes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.